Okay, this video is going to be on my Jerusalem artichoke harvest that I just recently did. Just harvested some Jerusalem artichokes from my backyard and from the plot, and I got two different results. And altogether, I did yield a lot of Jerusalem artichokes, and I'm going to show you how I'm going about storing these. And yeah, I'm going to talk about Jerusalem artichokes a little bit too, because there's a good number of people out there who still don't know what Jerusalem artichokes are, and yeah, they should. Okay, so the Jerusalem artichoke, also known as the sunchoke, the sunroot, earth apple, and it has a few other names. The scientific name is Helianthus tuberosus. Helianthus is actually the genus of the sunflower, so these things are related to sunflowers, and you can kind of see that in how tall they grow and just, you know, the flowers that they produce, very sunflower-like. And tuberosus, I'm sure it just means tuberous, kind of just speaks for itself. They're actually native to America, and they were used by the Native Americans long before Europeans arrived. They were brought back to Europe, and by the 1600s they became very popular for consumption in Europe and America. What I have here in my hand is a Jerusalem artichoke, and as you can see, it's a tuber, and it's very similar in tasting to potatoes. They're actually really good for you. They're super productive, easy to grow, and they grow in an average to poor soil perfectly fine and still produce as if they were grown in really amazing soil, even though it would be better just to grow in really good soil. But they are pretty easy to grow. The tubers are rich in inulin, which is a polymer of the monosaccharide fructose, which is sort of just a really fancy way of saying the large molecule of sugar. Inulin is a naturally occurring carbohydrate present in more than 36,000 species of plants. To name some, we have onions, bananas, garlic, wheat, asparagus, and about 36,000 other plants. The tubers actually use the inulin to store energy, which I'm sure the plant uses to keep itself alive throughout the winter, because it is a perennial. Inulin is actually good for a number of things. Things like building the immune system, absorbing minerals, weight loss, digestion, and it also feeds the beneficial microbes in your stomach and intestines, which is extremely important for the overall health of your body. The longer you store them, the tubers actually convert the inulin back into fructose, and I'm sure that's what they use the sugars is to pop out of the soil in spring again. So it's a very interesting technique this plant has to stay alive. Okay, so I harvested first from my home, and it's actually really fun digging these things up. And I did make a video last year of me harvesting Jerusalem artichokes, and I harvested probably around 12 pounds. And this year, altogether, I probably got around a little over 60 pounds, maybe a little more, I'm not sure. I didn't weigh it, but I did get a lot. The way I harvest these, I actually just cut back the stems, which are extremely tall, and start to pull them up and yank up the first set of tubers that are just connected to the bottom of the roots. And after I ripped all those out, I actually just start to use my hands and dig deep into the soil, and yeah, it's like digging for treasure, because you never know what you're gonna get, and it's fun. But I did get a decent sized yield from the ones that I grew at my home, and the ones that I'm growing at home are grown in partial shade. Then I grew the ones at the plot, which actually I threw it on a lot of manure early in the season, and yeah, it was just very, very rich in nitrogen, and it just took off. The stem of the Jerusalem artichoke itself was actually extremely large, and I was just impressed by that. Yeah, I got a really decent amount with that. I had about 1.5 buckets of Jerusalem artichokes, 1.5 buckets. And yeah, it was one hell of a harvest. I actually only brought 1 bucket to the plot, and I had to just end up dumping out the first load into the back of the pickup truck, and then finish the rest of the harvest. It was fun harvesting them, but I'm going to show you how I go about storing them, because last year I got about 12 pounds, and a few of them did go to waste because I wasn't storing them properly. All I did was just throw them into my refrigerator, and it just got soft. So I actually found out about a pretty efficient method of storing them, and you just basically do what nature does and just keep them in the soil. I'm actually going to be using buckets that I used for my container garden about a year ago, and the buckets itself has holes in them because I was using them to grow plants in. At the bottom of these buckets I actually put some newspaper, and that's to cover up the holes, and I just filled it with a layer of soil, and then I put some Jerusalem artichokes, and then another layer of soil, and then another Jerusalem artichokes, and I just kept repeating the process until the top of the bucket was filled with soil and Jerusalem artichokes. And yeah, I filled up around 3 buckets in total, and I'm just gonna store this in my garage. And yeah, it was a fun process doing that. But this is a way that you can store these Jerusalem artichokes and keep them for the winter. So in case you want to eat them throughout the winter, I can just grow in my garage and just grab some and make a meal with them. And whatever I don't use, I'll actually just put back into the soil and continue to grow. I plan on actually sharing a lot of these with some friends who are looking forward to growing these. But yeah, that's just a little bit on Jerusalem artichokes. I didn't really cover it in depth because there's so much more to these things that it's pretty interesting. So check it out. Look up Jerusalem artichokes, learn about them, tell people about them, try to grow them, eat them. They taste amazing. I'm actually gonna play around with some recipes myself. Maybe I'll make some recipe videos. Yeah. Thanks for watching.